turn on their cameras if they are comfortable with it to make the session a bit more engaging. In the sacred verses of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna imparts timeless wisdom to Arjun on the battlefield, which is an ancient dialogue that transcends time and resonates with the very essence of our existence. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, we often find ourselves at the crossroads of the ancient teachings and the contemporary challenges. Today, we embark on a profound journey, one that intertwines the sacred verses of the Bhagavad Gita with the intricate tapestry of the modern day psychology. Our webinar, titled Bhagavad Gita and the Modern Day Psychology, a journey to reconnect with roots, promises not only bridge the gap between the timeless teachings of the Bhagavad Gita and contemporary psychology, but also to offer insights that resonates with our daily lives. It is with immense joy and great honor that I welcome our guest speaker for today's webinar, Professor Girishwar Mishra sir. He is an eminent figure, an educator, distinguished social scientist, accomplished author, and the former Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Antarashtriya Hindi Vishwavidyalaya, which is a central university in Maharashtra. He has also served as a professor of psychology at the University of Delhi for more than 2 decades and contributed to universities in Bhopal, Allahabad, and Gorakhpur as well. With a career spanning more than 5 decades, Professor Girishwar Mishra has dedicated his life to the realms of academia, contributed significantly to the field of psychology. Professor Mishra has not only imparted knowledge but has also inspired countless individuals on their academic journey. As a Fulbright Senior Fellow at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and Swarthmore College, Philadelphia, as well as a visiting professor at the Ruhr University, Germany, Dr. Mishra has showcased his expertise globally. His research interests encompasses social, developmental, cultural, health psychology, to name a few, renowned for his significant publications such as Psychological Consequences of Prolonged Deprivation and the Handbook of Psychology in India, to just name a few. Dr. Mishra has played a pivotal role in the advancing and understanding of psychology in diverse contexts, serving as the president of the Indian Academy of Psychology and editing psychological studies for nearly 16 years. He has significantly influenced the academic landscape. Professor Misra's accolades include the Jawaharlal Nehru National Award and the Fellowship of the National Academy of Psychology in India. His commitment to the field is reflected in his roles as editorial fellow, chief editor of the 5th and 6th Survey of Psychology, and a council member and national fellow of the ICSSR. Professor Mishra's distinguished career and profound contributions make him a revered figure in the realm of psychology and academia. Today, we have the privilege of delving into the wisdom and insights of Professor Mishra as he navigates us through the intersection of the Bhagavad Gita and modern psychology. His expertise promises to make this session intellectually stimulating and spiritually enriching. Without taking any more of your time, I invite Professor Grishwar Mishra to share his knowledge and wisdom with us. So, the stage is yours, and we are eager to absorb all the wisdom you have so graciously agreed to share with us today. Thank you, sir.
Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma mritangamaya. Dear Muskan and all the friends who have gathered today in this webinar, I'm grateful and feel privileged to be in the company of young minds. It's gratifying that we are going to see through this BHU effort to connect the domains of modern life with the wisdom of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is considered as Jnanamaya Pradeep, that is, a lamp of wisdom. We know that the context of Bhagavad Gita is the Mahabharat war, and this text has been a very popular text for almost all scholars from India and abroad, and a large number of commentaries have been written on Bhagavad Gita. It has also provided support to people like Lokmanya Tilak and Mahatma Gandhi during freedom struggle. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful collection of poems, and it is said that Gita Sugita Kartavya, that one should sing, one should realize गीता गुनगुनाने के लिए है, सुगीता. And the next statement is गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यत शास्त्र विस्तरई. There is no need to go to all the shastras, because Bhagavad Gita is essence of almost all wisdom available in Upanishads. It is also mentioned beautifully, and I would like to quote that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is something like this. Sarvo Punishado Gavo. All the Upanishads are cows. The milkman is Lord Shri Krishna. And Partho Vatsa, उस गाय का बछड़ा जो है वो पार्थ है, अर्जुन. And all the people who are interested in learning, they are the consumers of that. What? Amrita Dugdha. Gita is Amrita Dugdha. So, this is the traditional understanding of Bhagavad Gita, that it brings together wisdom available from all the Upanishads, and it tries to assimilate various traditions. It also tries to connect with challenges of life. I don't know exactly whether Mahabharat war is a true war, but I know that all of us are having this Mahabharat in our life. Every day we are trying to deal with circumstances where there is a problem, to connect with good, to connect with evil, to deal with people, circumstances, and all that. So, the learning which is available from Bhagavad Gita is pertinent to the complexities of contemporary life also. I am particularly reminded of Mahamana Malaviya, who loved Bhagavad Gita. who gave discourses on Bhagavad Gita. I also pay tribute to him. In fact, he has stated that perhaps there is no text available in the world which can match the wisdom available in Bhagavad Gita. That is the appraisal of Mahamana about Bhagavad Gita. Now, the course of events which are connected with Bhagavad Gita are quite known to us. We know about the story of Kauravas and Pandavas, Duryodhan, and all the characters are well known to us. There is an interesting thing about Bhagavad Gita that all the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are known as various kinds of yogas. So the first chapter is Vishada Yoga. So you will find Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and there are many, many. All the chapters are named after one kind of yoga. And Lord Krishna is known as Yogishwar, the greatest yogi. While going through Bhagavad Gita, I came across one word very frequently, most frequently. It is very interesting. And that word is yukta. Yukta means connected. One who has achieved the connection. There are other meanings also. Yukta means upayukta, appropriate. But joining is something very crucial. You will see many such terms, buddhi yukta. Very frequently, Lord Krishna talks about yukta. Now, it is very important that the whole effort is to join, to connect. All chapters are talking about some kind of connection. Now, I want to emphasize this simply because relating, connecting, joining is central to our life. How we are connecting and to whom. किससे जुड़ रहे हैं और कैसे जुड़ रहे हैं, that is the question. I would also like to emphasize that it is this relationship which is central to this whole worldview. The challenge is that you are not properly connected. You are not yukta. So you have to be yukta. I am emphasizing this point simply because modern psychology, and all of us are students of modern psychology, is primarily individual centered, is anthropocentric. It considers individual as ultimate reality. While the worldview which we have in the Bhagavad Gita is one which emphasizes on connection, on yoga, on joining, on relationship. Interestingly, this relating is so central in our worldview in everyday life. I mean, it is very difficult to see ourselves free from connections. You are related to different individuals, people. You are doing things in relation to others. And in psychology, all explanations are sought in terms of individuals' properties. I don't want to remind you the list of various traits and characteristics and attributes that we use to explain behavior. We hardly take a relationship as a variable or a process to explain our behavior. We try to examine and explain on the basis of individual traits, whether it is intelligence or personality or whatnot, interest and values. Everything is located in the individual. While the reality is that you live life in relationship. And how to improve this relationship, how to carry out this relationship, that is the challenge, that is the problem. So perhaps we need something psychology which deals with relationships, relational, you know, understanding relationships rather than individuals, separate individuals. It is the connection, it is the relationship which is central, which is crucial. I just wanted to emphasize this. I'm very happy that my friends, dear students, have raised many interesting questions. They deal with the domains of modern psychology as well as challenges that we face in our life. I'm glad that these questions have come up. The only limitation is that we don't have so much time at our disposal to deal with all the questions. Each one of them require a separate, you know, uh, deliberation or discussion. So I may not be able to respond to all the questions, but I would like to keep them in my mind and try to relate them to the presentation that we are going to have today. Friends, the key question with which the discourse of Bhagavad Gita starts, as we know, relates to the challenge faced by Arjuna, the great warrior. A person who is very competent. There is no question about his competence. And already it has been decided that there is war and he knew it. He came to fight and he reaches to the place where war is going to take place. So a kind of a conflict takes place. And the question arises what to do in this situation. As we know, the challenge is that those who are the targets are very close. They are relatives, they are elders, and all that. Whether I should fight or not. And if you read the first chapter, it talks about the description, it provides a description of Arjuna. The word is Vishad. You may use depression, you may use all kinds of terms that you have in psychology to describe his condition. And the situation is that he is not willing. Now, the question is whether he has an option, what to do under those circumstances. And he's in conflict. He has a challenging situation before him. And Lord Krishna is there. And as we know, he is there to provide guidance, to provide words of wisdom, to help him to get rid of this problem. Now, rest of the chapters that we have talk about the counsel given by Lord Krishna, what has to be done. And while doing that, he talks about the various traditions of knowledge and the various ways to deal with situation. And the last chapter, the 18th chapter, is that after listening all that, Arjuna says, "Oh, now I remember. Now I know. Now I don't have doubt. Gata sandeha." That my sandeha has gone and he is ready to fight. The transformation takes place. If you unpackage the chapters, you find many things to learn about a new paradigm of psychology. It provides a different perspective on reality, on the challenges, and the ways one has to conduct oneself in life. And all that requires very detailed discussion. I will choose a few things and like to share with you. It will not be a full-fledged discussion of all the chapters, that is impossible. Now, the point which I want to share with you is that the entire quest is to understand the nature of self. Who are you? Now, this question, who are you, is very central in real life. And there are moments when we do think about it, particularly when there is difficulty, when there is a challenge. Then we try to understand it. And sometimes people go to counselors, therapists to solve this problem. Now, who am I? This question can be answered in so many ways. Obviously, all of us have a body. We have all the receptors and, effectors. We have a brain. All these things are there. Modern psychology, the general psychology book that you study, you find that human being is an organism. It's a physical organism. It's a machine. It has all the receptors and all those things. And they work. You don't go into the philosophical question of who am I, you leave it. and you consider that how learning takes place, how connection occurs, and how you perceive, and obviously you learn about thinking, motivation, emotion. All those terms are very familiar with us. How this whole mechanism works. Uh, if you go to the various theoretical accounts, you will see that there is no one answer to that. You have so many answers. And modern psychology has also grown in diverse ways. You have, you know, if you go to history, you have psychoanalysis, you have, humanistic psychology, you have behaviorism. So the question, who am I, is being addressed in so many ways, and people are happy with different answers. There is no one definite answer. So how you create the meaning of yourselves is up to you, because human beings are self-defining. You define yourself. Who are you? And that definition becomes very crucial for your own action. You define yourself as poor or rich, intelligent, unintelligent, and how you are going to behave is motivated by these definitions. Uh, you have various tests, and they tell you are extroverted, introverted, this, that, what not. And you may accept that, and you think that, well, I have these properties, so I should behave like that. So it is all construction. It is all construction. You don't have like your ear or eyes. Your personality is not located somewhere in your brain or anywhere. No, it's nonsense. You don't have this traits somewhere located. It's all construction. It's a part of a story that you have created. You have liked it, and you try to live according to that story, and that story may change. And if you read the life story of Gandhi, you can see the change which has taken place. The young Gandhi, the child Gandhi, and the adult Gandhi, and the great Gandhi that we know. So the transformation takes place. It's not something which is fixed, right? So there are many ways to understand your own nature of self. Your self understanding is a kind of a cultural creation. It's a social creation. It's an understanding which takes place. You can limit it to body only, right? Or you can expand it, and body is part of that expanded view. You must have heard about the Indian notion of pancha koshas, that you have a bodily sheath,
Yes.
annamaya kosh, and then you have vijnanamaya kosh and all
Okay.
that, anandamaya kosh and manomaya kosh. So what I want to suggest is that self is a construction. Now Bhagavad Gita deconstructs the simple meaning of self and creates a new construction, that, well, you have a body, but you are not body. You are a deha. And if you say that you are a deha, it is your misunderstanding. You are dehi. Deh belongs to dehi. Dehi lives in this body, right? Like you get an appointment to work at some place, and you go there, stay there, then you are transferred, you go to some other place, and you take your belongings and go to the other place. So the place, the geha, right? There is geha, the place where Dehi lives.
Yes.
You should not confuse the place or the room or the house with one who dwells in that house. The two are different. This distinction is very crucial. That the body belongs to you. You are not body. He makes God makes it very clear that the whole description of Atman is to ensure that don't confuse yourself with body. Whole deconstruction takes place. Nainam chindanti shastrani, all the words which are there. Vasansi jiranani yata vihai. If you read all that, that takes that you to this position that this body is a place of dwelling. And of course, you have to keep it proper, you have to take care of this, but it is an instrument. That's all. It should not be considered as totality. This distinction is very crucial. Philosophically, Bhagavad Gita belongs to, you must have heard about Sankhya Yoga. I will not go into the details of that darshana, but that tells that materiality or prakriti is one and Purush is something different.
Yes.
Now, Prakriti is one where action takes place, activities takes place. And then again it is described in terms of three crucial qualities. You know them, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas.
Much.
So you work under the control of these various qualities. Lord says that one should try to become gunatita. Go beyond these gunas. Don't be controlled by these gunas. So you need to understand who are you. You are not this domain. It is misunderstanding that you have developed. It is a kind of knowledge which is not knowledge, which is ignorance. And you try to confuse yourself with this which you are not. So you are something else and you consider yourself as something different. And that creates the challenge. And he tries to clarify this quite systematically with various examples. And this does not mean that he's denying this word. Please remember it. This is very important because Lord Krishna says that when I have to work, there is no moment when there is no work. You are listening, that is also a work that you are doing. I'm speaking, that is also a work that is being done by me.
That,
So everyone is active. Now, how you act, the beauty of karma yoga is to create a model of action which is so spontaneous that you feel like no effort. It is very spontaneous. You are doing it. You are enjoying it. There is no need to have something extra attached to that. You don't need a reward to do that. The action itself becomes reward. You enjoy it. So the psychology of action, which is described within Karma Yoga, provides a model where action is something which, if you want to call, reward in itself. Reward is not required. Now, this is understood as non-attachment or detached action, or whatever term is used. The Nishkam karma is used. Now, there are many studies in modern psychology uh, which have come within the purview of intrinsic motivation, which indicate that if you do something for reward, then your performance is a poor quality. No one gets Nobel Prize for, you know, it's not fixed कि नोबेल प्राइज मिलेगा तभी हम पोएट्री लिखेंगे. It's not like that. So the novel or the poetry or story that you write, you enjoy it. And it subsequently, if it is great, people will recognize and read it, and you will get reward. Now, this is very important. The relationship between actor and action. You are an agent and you act, and that is natural. You should act. Any action will yield some consequence. That is inevitable. It is impossible that you act and there is no consequence. So, there is a term in, you call it fate, you fortune, or prarabdha, bhagya. So, that is actually the action that you do that makes you are master of your destiny. Do good act and see what happens. Do bad act and see what happens. आपकी पिटाई हो जाएगी. Now you आप अपना भाग्य तो खुद बना रहे हो. So there is nothing additional which is required. If you go to Gita, I think it is in chapter 16 or somewhere, it is mentioned that there are 5 factors which cause some action. And only one of them, 1/5, is Daiva. Right? So don't bother about it, that will explain. So the entire outcome. That's just 1/5. Your action and the instruments and the place, adhishtan and karta and karana and all those things are required. Daiva is one. So it is distributed causality, if you want to call it, not one single factor which causes something. So the model of action is one where you have to work, act spontaneously, and that is part of your existence. It doesn't require extra incentive or reward to act. Now, this is something which provides a different model of human action. And I have come across an interesting work where a professor in organizational behavior at Pennsylvania University, his name is Adam, and how it can be applied in modern organizations. So people are taking interest. There is another important facet of life, and psychology thrives on that. What is that? Individual differences.
Yes.
The whole
Yes.
industry is, on individual differences. Now you have all kinds of tests for various traits, innumerable traits. Now, Bhagavad Gita also tries to locate it. And it identifies that the dominance of various gunas, the sattva, rajas, or tamas, it varies because of your past actions, the impressions that you have. You may call it genetic grounding or anything, but that is there. You find that not everyone is equally, intelligent. You find individual differences in almost all traits. So, if you want to strive in this life, you need to take that into account. And accordingly, one has to find a particular way. I don't want to these are the ways to demystify your own self understanding and recognizing your true self. And you may like bhakti yoga, or you may like raja yoga, or you may like jnana yoga or karma yoga. So these are the various paths. And if you go into the details, you will see there is hardly difference across them. Ultimately, they talk about the same thing. A good bhakta is like a good jnani. There is no difference between the two. Or the karma yogi is also of the same kind. The basic principles are almost similar if you read that. And there are certain traits that we must aspire for. Bhagavad Gita talks about some daivi qualities, positive qualities. And if you read that, the list is very common. For example, ahimsa is there, adroha, that you should not disturb someone, or there should not be hatred. Uh, a positive orientation is emphasized, and asuri traits are also given. They are just opposed to that. You can read that. So there is emphasis that there are various paths. There are certain ways that should be accepted modes of interacting, relating with others. This is very crucial. Now, there are some basic principles also. Uh, in the beginning, I made the statement that yukta is very important, and Gita says yukta hara vihara cheshta nidra. Yukt means appropriate. So yukta ahar, what you eat, vihar, how you vihar means ghumna phirna, whatever you do and your activities. Yukta ahar vihar cheshta, your actions, your sleep, all that should be yukta. So how to conduct yourself. It is very close to the principles given in Ayurveda, how to live life appropriately. Gita also mentions samatvam yoga uchyate. This samatva or equanimity is a beautiful phrase. Psychologists, modern psychologists have not paid attention to it, because here you need more and more. You know, more is better.
Yes, sir.
That is the problem. But there, no, it's not more, it is balanced. Samatva. Now, this samatva is such a higher state of life, which is described, I think, in chapter 2, a very famous notion, sthita pragya, steady wisdom. A person with steady wisdom is one who is equidistant. लाभा लाभो जया जयो. लाभ हो या अलाभ हो, जय हो, कुछ भी, everywhere. You know, he is not pained if there is a pain. He is not very happy if there is something great happens to that person. That is sthita pragya. You are not guided and controlled and regulated by your emotions. Rather, you control them. Now, steady wisdom is the state sthita pragya, which is described in very detail. And it says that, well, if you want to live a life with satisfaction, okay, before satisfaction, I would like to mention one more thing, that what we want in our life, we want happiness. I think that is the only goal shared by everybody.
Yes.
Now, how to be happy? By having more money? All billionaires take pills to sleep. So money is not going to solve the problem. Now, if you want sukha, if you want happiness, then Gita says that there should be what? Shanti,
Sir,
peace.
peace.
Peace will lead to sukha. Peace will lead to happiness. Shantasya sukha. One who is ashamed, he can't have happiness. This is something very important. Mental peace is necessary to be happy. So, happiness through peace, not getting more and more money. The route to happiness is via peace.
Peace.
And peace is possible when there is equanimity. ये मिल जाए तो फिर ये मिल जाए तो फिर ये मिल जाए तो फिर मरो. You will not have peace, you will not have happiness. If you want happiness, you need peace. If you want peace, you have to be one who has equanimity. If you are hankering, ye bhi mil jaye, wo bhi mil jaye. If you have contentment, If you have santosh, if you are happy with limited, then you will not be agitated. Then you will be happy.
Happy.
So there is a route to happiness which goes via peace, and that is through controlling your emotions. Now, controlling your emotions is not easy. हम्म?
Yes.
अच्छी चीज देख करके मन उधर ललचा जाता है. So you need to regulate yourself. And who is regulating? Yourself. You are regulating yourself for yourself.
Yes.
इसीलिए गीता में कहा है, you are the best friend of yourself and you are the worst enemy of yourself. Both. If you are able to regulate, control yourself by yourself, then you are your most best friend. And if you are not able to do that, then you are your most worst enemy. आप ही अपने सबसे बड़े मित्र हो, आप ही अपने सबसे बड़े शत्रु हो.
Satru.
If you are able to regulate yourself, it's a big challenge. That is again self-understanding, self-regulation. So it's not somebody else who comes and helps you. You have to discover your own self. That is the beauty of this whole discourse, that it empowers you. You have all these properties, all these attributes, all these characteristics. How you conduct yourself with this body. And it is also very important to realize, if you go to, I think it is in chapter 16 or 17, that everything they talk about, whatever you eat, that is also tamasic and rajasic and sattvic. Knowledge is also sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. One which sees something common across everything. If you are able to see that, then that knowledge is sattvic knowledge. अगर आप डिस्क्रिमिनेट करते हो सबके प्रति, ये तो छोटा है, ये बड़ा है, then that knowledge is not sattvic knowledge. So Gita talks about the methods to live appropriately, to relate adequately to yourself, with others. And it also says that if you are not a very knowledgeable person, then come to me. Forget everything. Become a devotee. And Lord Krishna says, then I will take care of you. Then that person also is one who sees everything colored by God. No discrimination. A great devotee is like that. So, depending on your own qualities, you can choose a path for yourself, means for your own self discovery, understanding your own attributes. And it is very important to see that everything is changing. This is very crucial. So something which is permanent should not change. Nitya and anitya. So something which is anitya, which is changing, is not true. इसीलिए गीता में कहा गया है कि जो है, जो सत है, वो उसका अभाव नहीं है। मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि वो कभी रहेगा नहीं या कभी था नहीं, और जो नहीं है वो होगा भी नहीं। तो सत और असत का जो डिस्टिंक्शन है, you need to be clear about the reality, what is changing and what is not changing, what you are. So if you want to to identify with, don't identify with body, identify with the higher reality. You should strive for that, and the distinctions which are there, they are at the lower level. And if you are confined to that, you are confined to suffering, pain, and everything. So, how to get rid of that? So, Gita provides a way, a kind of a methodology, technology, and it tells that uh, be clear in terms of your understanding of reality, who you are and what you are not. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But if you take pain to understand it, to decipher it, to see what are the distinct characteristics, you will be able to appreciate this. So, if you want to examine, you will see a good theory of personality, a good theory of motivation, a good theory of emotion, a good theory to organize life, which does not create problem for others, and others will not create problems for you. How to create that society, that kind of situation? You know, the methodology and tips are there. One has to uh, go through these text in more detailed manner, and that was not possible in a short time that we had. And I don't want to uh, bore you more. you know we have already, yes, about 1 hour.
One. Yes, sir.
So I think it's enough for today's discussion. The questions which were given to me, I have taken note of that. I don't know whether we have time to discuss all those questions, but it is quite clear that there are life skills which are present in or embedded in the discourse that we have in Bhagavad Gita. How to relate to others, how to regulate our own mental makeup, uh, what kind of um, uh, path has to be accepted and followed and pursued. All that requires elaborate uh, discussion. As far as contemporary scenario is concerned, I'm sure that at different levels there are conflicts. Conflicts at national level, international level, in organizations. Uh, so intrapersonal, interpersonal, intergroup, all levels you have conflicts of all the kinds. And if you analyze them, you will see that they are because of the limited identities that you have. All conflicts are related to the limited identities. If you examine the politics that we have in within, state elections or national elections or anywhere, if you go, it is limited identity that we have. And if you decode them, you will see that all of them are because of, you know, gaining small things. You give a different name, but ultimately it comes to that. So it's ignorance, it's not knowledge. And that is no way to solve the problems.
Yes, that is why it's also said like ignorance is a bliss as well, as long as we are ignoring the things.
What is what is happening today is
Yeah.
that there is no wisdom. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. You need to see what is common. What is that which maintains this life? I think we need to bother about it. Uh, it's unfortunate that the materialistic emphasis that has gone up, the kind of mental training that we have, we are eager to adopt that, and immediately it seems that it is very attractive and it helps something to create better, but in the long run it's a real problem. uh, it is very important to see the broader reality. Just few months back we had the great experience of epidemic, and that provided an understanding, but we are now forgetting. You know, I'm in Delhi, and it is difficult to walk on the road because there is a smog.
Yes.
What I am taking inside my throat is something which is poisonous. Who's responsible for this?
Yeah.
It's a big problem. So uh, it appears that at one level things are good, but if you go at a deeper level, then you see that there is trouble in the lifestyle that we have adopted. It is going to create more problem. It has already started creating problems. It is not the solution. So there is wisdom available in this very old text, and it talks about not only reality for India but humanity at large. So I conclude here, and I express my gratitude to all of you and thank you. आप सबको ये दीपावली अच्छी हो, शुभ हो, आप स्वस्थ रहें, इस शुभकामना के साथ आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
It's our pleasure, sir, and our privilege to hear you speak today. And we have a few questions, sir. Like, if you have some time, if you can address, like, a few people have been raising their hands. They would like to ask you, if that's okay.
Okay, okay. A few questions because I have not been feeling well for the last week. I have taken medicines for my throat and all that. Yeah, please.
Yes. Just one or two question. Only one person has raised his hand. Pratik Jaishwal, if you can ask your question, you can go ahead.
Okay, sorry sir for troubling you, but just a question. I wanted to ask sir, how can we illuminate modern day psychology with the teachings of Bhagavad Gita?
Uh, your question is very difficult in the sense that modern psychology is not uh, one single view. You have so many specializations, so many languages of psychology. There is no one psychology. I'm sorry, you have one picture, but that is not true. So modern psychology has so many versions. Some of them are very close to it, because Indian psychology is also modern psychology. It is part of that. You can't leave it. So if you think about a specific domain or area, then it will be easy to reflect and connect with Bhagavad Gita, rather than saying that what is good for modern psychology, because it is not just one single view.
Thank you. So I hope I can converse with you in future. I will discuss.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are most welcome. You can use email and we can discuss that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. And so happy Dhanteras and Diwali to you. Thank you.
So, as we are short on time, we'll conclude this session. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Professor Girishwar Mishra sir for sharing his profound insights and wisdoms and taking out time from his busy schedule to be with us today. We hope you found this webinar enlightening and thought provoking. The knowledge imparted today is a testament to the timeless relevance of ancient teachings in our contemporary understanding of the mind. So, like, my biggest takeaway, like what I could take away from this session, I would like to express that is about self understanding and self reflection, which Sir mentioned earlier. And I think it's very much important in our times where we are always in conflict with our mind, in a different facing different challenges and new challenges every day. So we should really need to self reflect and understand. That was my gaining from today's session. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us today and gracing us with your wisdom. Your presence has enriched our understanding and inspired us to delve deeper into the fascinating realms of psychology and Bhagavad Gita. So, as we part ways, let's carry the essence of today's discussion with us. Feel free to connect with us on our social media channels and share your thoughts and reflections. Thank you all for your active participation and engagement. We look forward to welcoming you to future webinars and discussions hosted by the BHU PsyConnect. Wishing you all a very happy Diwali and Dhanteras. Be safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.